In the serene town of Shadowbrook, nestled within the misty forests of New England, a chilling legend endures. The townsfolk speak in hushed tones of a fearsome fiend known as the Spectral Horseman. Lieutenant Friedrich Sessler, a Hessian officer of the Revolutionary War, was notorious for his ruthless tactics and unwavering loyalty to the British Crown. His name commanded respect and fear among soldiers. However, his unyielding pursuit of victory led him to a tragic fate. One tumultuous night, as battle raged near Shadowbrook, Sessler was separated from his men and was ambushed by local militiamen. Outnumbered 6-1, Sessler fought like an animal, but he was finally struck down with a sword thrust through his chest. In his dying moments, he vowed to avenge himself on his assailants. True to his word, Sessler's spirit rose from the grave and adopted a fearsome form. Beheaded by his enemies with his own sword, he now roams the dark woods on his spectral steed, Witwenmarker, searching for his head and avenging his death upon the local militiamen. It's said that the Spectral Horseman appears on foggy nights, his presence heralded by the sound of hoofbeats and a chilling wind. The people of Shadowbrook live in fear of this angry ghost. According to legend, those who venture into the woods at night may witness the horseman's ghostly charge. Eyewitnesses report seeing his headless figure, dressed in tattered military garb, racing through the mist with a sword aglow with otherworldly fire. The tale of the Spectral Horseman serves as a dark reminder of Shadowbrook's eerie history. The residents make offerings at the forest's edge, hoping to placate the angry spirit. Yet, despite their efforts, the Spectral Horseman persists in his nightly rides, vanquishing any who dare to confront him.
Hello everyone, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club and welcome to my channel. And welcome to another episode of my Autumn Horror Month 2024. In this episode, I'll be returning to the forlorn town of Shadowbrook for another playthrough of A Touch of Evil, the Supernatural game, 10-year anniversary edition. In this playthrough, I'll be controlling 4 heroes as they investigate the epic version of the Spectral Horseman. This will be my first playthrough against the epic version of the Spectral Horseman, so we will learn about this villain together as we play. An epic villain is a scarier and more deadly version of the villain and incorporates an enhanced minion chart, an objectives deck, thematic hunting gear deck, and Epic Villain Encounters deck. I've been saving this villain ever since I purchased the 10-year anniversary edition back in whenever it was, 2018 or 2020, so I'm very excited to see how this plays. From just examining the epic version of the minion chart, it's now a 2d6 roll instead of a d6, this villain is going to be not only more thematic, but more diverse in its capabilities as well. I've made a point of not examining the epic villain decks, so we're going to once again experience this together as we play. An epic villain is a normal villain in every way, but it incorporates the 3 new decks that I discussed earlier, and a special model. During setup, we will shuffle the objectives deck and draw 2 cards. Alright, so we'll draw the top 2 cards from the epic villain objectives deck. The top half of the objective lists its title, objective goals, and additional actions available to the heroes. The bottom half lists the objective reward for completing the objective. First one is find the rider's skull. Hunting for the rider's skull. Draw a layer card and place it face up here, as well as the rider's skull marker at that location. All right, so we'll do that. We'll draw a layer card and see where that falls out. It's going to be at the marsh. Okay, so we will be placing the rider's skull token at the marsh. It says well hidden. When the shadow track crosses into a new stage, or a hero rolls and fails to find the skull, see below, discard the layer card here and draw a new one to replace it, moving the rider's skull marker to a new location. All right. And then it says recovering the skull. A hero in the space with the rider's skull marker may attempt to find it as an action. Roll a number of dice equal to the investigation cost of the layer card. If any of the dice roll 5 or 6, you may discard 2 items or allies to take the rider's skull marker and discard this objective. The Spectral Horseman requires hit rolls of 6 with his fight dice to hit the hero that has the rider's skull marker. That is extremely powerful. So it looks like we're going to be looking for that to start out with at the marsh, and it's going to have a cost of 2. That is the investigation cost that we are going to have. That'll tell us number of dice equal to the investigation cost. So in this case, we'd be rolling 2 dice. And then if we're successful by rolling 5 or 6, we have to surrender either 2 items or allies to take the skull. All right. Next card is Fortify the Town. And there's an action called Build Barracks. Cunning 5+. While in any town space, a hero may attempt to build a barricade as an action. Make a Cunning 5+ test. If successful, place a barricade in the same space. Limit 1 per space and gain 2 investigation. And these are the barricade tokens that it comes with. Then it says Rally the Militia, pay 4 investigation. While in any town space, a hero may rally the militia as an action. Pay 4 investigation to place a militia in the space. Limit 1 per space. And then finally it says Fortified Town. At the start of any turn in which every town space in the town is fortified, has a barricade and a militia, move the shadow track 1 step away from darkness. This may not, however, move the shadow track into a different stage. All right. A little more research into barricades. It says that barricades can be built in response to an objective called Fortify the Town. Barricades remove the villain or a minion from the board when they enter a barricaded space. Now these barricades can be placed in either Shadowbrook or on the coast board at Tidewater. Either of them is considered to be towns. Then we have the Hunting Gear deck. It's used to acquire special items themed just for the Spectral Horseman. As an action, a hero in a town space, and this includes any town spaces in Shadowbrook, Tidewater, or at the monastery, may purchase a hunting gear card for 5 investigation. Each player may carry up to 2 hunting gear cards at a time. The card is randomly drawn, so we don't know what we're going to get until we buy it. And finally, we have the Epic Villain Encounter deck. At the start of each mystery phase, the first player must place a dread marker in the shadows. That's a space next to the shadow track. So we would be playing a dread token at the start of every mystery phase. Then a d6 is rolled, and if the result is greater than the number of dread markers in the shadows, nothing happens. However, if the result is equal to or less than, we have to draw and resolve an epic encounter. Whatever tokens are in the shadows would be removed, and then that encounter would be resolved. And those are similar to mystery cards. They're not going to be good for us. Epic villain encounters can be canceled by anything that would cancel a mystery card, but the hero must pay 3 investigation to successfully cancel the card, so it's going to be a little more difficult to get rid of those. Another element that is unique to this epic villain is spiked skull tokens. Those are placed on the board, and I believe it's going to be in response to a minion chart roll. And those will be randomly placed on the board. And if a hero is in a space or adjacent to them, he's going to have -1 to his spirit. And the effects of these are going to be commutative. So if we're in a space with one and there's one in the adjacent space to us, we're going to be at -2 spirit. So those will be dangerous for us. Another element that's included with this is the blood tree token. It's placed on the board when the chop down the blood tree objective is drawn. So we won't be using it in this playthrough, but I figured I would just show it to you. It allows the heroes to search the old woods for the blood tree, a gateway to hell from which the horseman draws his infernal power. Now let's take a look at the Spectral Horseman. And this is the epic version, of course. He has a combat of 5 and 8 health. His keywords are villain, ghost, and ruthless. His special rules include relentless charge. With an unquenchable thirst for revenge, the Spectral Horseman's ride through the colonies is eternal. At the end of any fight with the Spectral Horseman, he will ride the shortest path directly towards the town hall, engaging in a fight round against every hero moved over along the way, not including heroes within the town hall. So if you're in the town hall, that is a safe spot. Before disappearing into the night, the villain does not take wounds during these fights. Instead, heroes gain 1 investigation for each hit they do to the villain. These fights do not count as a showdown. He has the special ability Collect Souls. Every time the Spectral Horseman kills a town elder, he gains a +2 health marker, so we are going to have to protect the town elders if possible. And he's a deadly specter. The Spectral Horseman has +1 combat against a hero with Spirit 3, +2 combat against a hero with Spirit 2, or +3 combat against a hero with only Spirit 1. So we are going to have to make sure that our investigators have their spirit levels as high as possible. Then he has Endless Ride. Any time the mystery card Murder is played, the Spectral Horseman appears at the same random location as the investigators and immediately moves using his relentless charge that we discussed earlier. And then there's Covered Bridge. Whenever a hero enters or starts their move on the covered bridge space, add 1 dread marker toward the next epic encounter. So that covered bridge is kind of a mystical location for this Spectral Horseman. And finally, he has Cold Vengeance. Whenever a Spectral Horseman does 1 or more wounds to a hero outside of a showdown, move the shadow track 1 step closer to darkness. So we're going to have to try to protect our investigators from engaging in combat with this thing. Otherwise, the shadow track is going to be advanced at an abnormally quick rate. Now let's take a quick look at the epic villain minion chart for the Spectral Horseman. Now the first thing that we'll notice on here is this is no longer a 1d6 table. It is double-sided and it's 2d6. So we've got 11 different results here. I'm not going to go through them at this time, but I'll bring them up on the screen and you can take a look at both sides. And obviously the base numbers will be 6, 7, and 8. Those will be the most likely. So Spectral Cavalry, the Horseman Rides Tonight, and Ghost Soldiers will probably be the most common results, but there's some very interesting other ones in the chart as well. So that will be a very interesting change to the game. And here's a shot of the model of the Spectral Horseman. I just did this in a, dry brush pattern, but I think it looks pretty nice, and he's going to have a lot more action on the board. He'll be out on the board and moving around and things, and that's why they included a model with him, where normally the villains don't have models. We have counters to represent them. I hope that Flying Frog ends up producing a set of these advanced epic villains. That would be really nice, and I think that this system really is the next step in advancing this game. When you get a minion chart with 11 results, extra counters, and then those in this case 3 decks of the encounters, items, and objectives, I think that really propels this game to the next level, and all we can do is hope that in the future Flying Frog will continue to produce these, maybe in just sets like the vampire set or the werewolf set or whatever, and I think that would be pretty neat. I've randomly selected our 4 investigators, and our first player is going to be Lucy Hanbrook. And she is going to start at the manor. That's one of her special abilities, Hanbrook. She starts at the manor, and she's going to begin with 4 investigation rather than just the normal 2. And she has that lucky ability, which we're going to have to remember to use. Once per fight round, you can force her opponent to re-roll one of his fight dice. And then she has youth. She can heal 1 wound at the start of each of her turns, or showdown fight rounds. Now, she only has 2 health boxes, so we'll have to be careful with her. But she's always a fun character. Then we have Anne-Marie, the school teacher. And she has, in her case, she's got a spirit of 4, so that's going to help us because of that Spectral Horseman's ability in gaining advantage over players with less than 4 spirit. So she's in good shape to go right off the bat. She's lightweight, so she can only use pistols, no other gun items, but her knowledge is power is going to be extremely powerful. She gains +2 combat for each book item that she has. So we're going to have to try to get Anne-Marie books by either visiting the blacksmith, monastery, or town square, purchasing any book items that are in the town items decks, and probably have her visit the manor. The manor is prevalent for books. Then we have our old friend Heinrich Cartwright the Drifter. Now he also has a spirit of 4, so that's going to work very well for us against this particular villain. Now he's resourceful. When drawing an event card, he can draw 2 and choose which to keep. I hope I can remember to do that. He is an outsider, so he's going to begin the game at the crossroads. That'll give him access to the Echo Lake board and Coast boards a little more quickly, and he's a little closer to the investigation tokens on the Echo Lake board. He has 4 health boxes. And finally, we have Harlow Morgan, the inventor. Now he has a spirit of 1. Now that is going to be a problem for him. We're going to have to find some way to boost him up to he needs a few boosts to get up to a spirit level that will not lend an advantage to the Spectral Horseman, so that might be a little difficult. He's very good at cunning, so he might be good at building those barricades for the fortify the town objective, and that's where you're going to be using cunning. He has genius. He gains 1 investigation at the start of each of his turns, so a steady supply of investigation is in hand for Harlow. He also has invention. As an action, he can discard any 2 items to take another item out of any discard pile, so that's pretty good. If we have items that are pretty valuable items in other discard piles, we'll have access to them. Then he's got quick thinking. He can pay 2 investigation to gain +1 fight die until the end of the fight round. This may be used multiple times, and he has 3 health boxes. I've run all the decks through the card shuffler 5 times each, so we should have a good mix on all of these decks. And we're ready to begin. Now we have placed the rider's skull in the marsh, which we are instructed to with that objective card. That will be an interesting mechanism in the game. All of the investigators are going to begin the game with 2 investigation, except for Lucy. She has that Hanbrook ability, which gives her 4 to start the game, so that's great. And we're going to begin the game with Lucy Hanbrook. She is our first player. Incidentally, for this playthrough, the red dice will be used for the villain and his minions, and the blue dice will be for the heroes. If we need extra dice for, say, attacks on allies or during a showdown or against the Spectral Horseman's minions, we'll be using charcoal die for the villain and a light blue for the heroes. So we'll begin Lucy's turn with her movement roll. And here is the roll. She rolls a 5, so she's got 5 movement points. And I think probably I'm going to have her go to the blacksmith, and she can spend some of those investigation that she starts out with. So we'll have her move there. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the blacksmith. All right. And I think she will encounter the space. She starts out by drawing an event card, so let's see what she gets. She draws the event Teamwork event. Play to gain +2 fight dice for each other hero in your space for a single attack, or play to prevent up to 3 hits to any other hero or town elder in your space, including town elders in your hunting party. So that's a good card. Now we're using the team rules on this, so that means that all of the event cards are going to be put into a community pool, and then all of the heroes can use them. And now Lucy can encounter the store at the blacksmith, and she can buy town items there. She has 4 investigations. So let's take a look at the town items deck, and I'll see what she might want to purchase. And I think Lucy is going to start out by purchasing a horse. That'll cost her 2, gives her +1 to move. In addition, she's going to purchase an old map. That's also 2, gives her +1 to honor, and instead of moving normally, she can discard this to move to any space on the board. So that's pretty valuable. We'll add those to her tableau. Each character can hold a total of 3 town items, and then 1 item from each of the corner spaces. And in addition, now with the epic villain, we can also have 2 of the epic villain hunter items, hunting party items. It's actually called hunting gear. Okay, that's going to bring Lucy's turn to a close. She spent her 4 investigation, and we'll move on now to Anne-Marie, the school teacher. And I think before Anne-Marie takes her turn, I'm going to do one last thing with Lucy, and that would be utilizing that fortify the town objective, and that's build barricades. Cunning 5+ test. While in a town space, a hero may attempt to build a barricade as an action. Make a Cunning 5+ test. If successful, place a barricade in the space and gain 2 investigations. So we might as well try it. There's nothing to have any cost for us. So let's give it a shot. Now, Lucy only has a cunning of 2, so she's not very good at this, but we'll have her give it a try. And we'll have her roll the 2 dice and see if she is successful. And she is. She's got a 6. So we can place a barricade there, and that's what we'll do. We'll put a barricade in the blacksmith shop. Now what happens with that, if a minion or the villain appears there, the barricade is removed, but the minion or villain does not appear in the space, so it gives us a little bit of protection. That's great. And now we'll move on to Anne-Marie, and she will make her roll for move. She rolls a 6. That is awesome. All right, I think Anne-Marie is going to take a run up to the manor, and we'll see what's happening up there. So she'll move 1, 2, 3, and 4 up to the manor. So Anne-Marie has arrived at the manor, and I think she's going to encounter the space. So we're going to be drawing a manor card. And she draws the card Cross, Item, Ward, and Holy. All vampire, ghost, and demon enemies attacking you are -1 fight dice, to a minimum of 1. Discard to prevent 1 wound to any hero or town elder in your space, including yourself. And the flavor text reads, "Get back, you devil." So that's a great card. So we'll give that to Anne-Marie. Incidentally, with that cross, the Spectral Horseman has the keyword ghost, so that will work against him. That is a very, very good card. I think that's going to end the turn for Anne-Marie, and we're going to move on now to Heinrich Cartwright. He is at the crossroads. Heinrich will begin his turn by rolling for move. And he rolls a 2. Okay, so let's see what his options are. He's got 2 movement points. And he could head to the Old Woods. He could head to the bog, and that would get him a couple investigations. So I think that's what he's going to do. He'll move 1, 2 into the bog, and he'll be able to collect that investigation, moving him up to 4. And incidentally, I'm going to place a red cube at the covered bridge, and that's going to hopefully help to remind me that the Spectral Horseman has that special ability about the covered bridge. And that says whenever a hero enters or starts the turn at the covered bridge, we have to add a dread marker toward the next epic encounter. So I think that will help to remind me of that. All right, Heinrich Cartwright is at the bog. He's collected the investigation that is there, and now he's got to encounter the space. We can roll a d6, and on a 3+, he can draw 2 event cards because of his resourceful ability. However, if he rolls a 1 or 2, we have to draw a mystery card. Let's see what we get. The result is a 3. So he's going to draw 2 events, and he can keep 1. And he draws the event card Strength of Will. Event Cunning. Play immediately. Play this card on any hero, and that would give them +1 to Cunning, and the card remains in play unless it is canceled by a villain event of some kind. Well, our lowest Cunning on the board is either Lucy or Heinrich Cartwright himself, so I think it'll make sense. We will play that card on Heinrich Cartwright, and that's going to move him up to a 3 Cunning right now. So we'll take that card, and the escape will be removed and placed in the discard. Now Heinrich does have enough investigation where he could start investigating some of the town elders. It costs, in a cooperative game, you have to pay 1 investigation per player is the cost. So in our 4-player game, it costs 4 points for investigation to investigate someone. But I don't like investigating unless we can peek, because if you investigate and it comes up, it says play immediately, we have no choice but to enact that card. Whereas if we can have the skill of peeking at their secrets, we don't necessarily have to reveal them. So I think we'll wait on that. And I think that'll bring Heinrich's turn to a close. And we'll move on to Harlow Morgan. Now Harlow has the genius ability. He gains 1 investigation at the start of each of his turns. So he's up to 3 investigation right now. And we'll have him roll for movement. He rolls a 2. Okay, that's not enough to reach any of the corner locations, but what we can do, and I think we will, is I'm going to have him move to the church. And that allows him to train his spirit. He's got the lowest spirit of all the investigators. He's got a 1, and that would be a great disadvantage to him versus the Spectral Horseman. So he's going to move to the church, and the first part of that is to draw an event. And Harlow draws the card, a Skilled Hand, Event Master. Play on any hero, including yourself, once per game round or once per showdown fight round. That hero may re-roll any 1 die they have just rolled, and that remains in play. That is an awesome card. Gives us a re-roll, and no matter what, once per game round. So that would apply even to any rolls. That's fantastic. We got to decide who to give that to now. Well, I think thematically it makes the most sense to give it to Harlow himself. He is the inventor, and that would make sense that he has a skilled hand. So we'll give that to Harlow. All right, the next step at the church is Harlow can train spirit. He can pay 2 investigation to make an honor 5+ roll. So we'll have him do that, and if he's successful, he can gain a +1 spirit. So he'll pay the 2 investigation. He currently has an honor of 3. So he'll be rolling 3 dice for the test, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here is his roll. And he's successful. He's got a 5. So we're going to award him +1 to spirit. That's awesome. So we'll give Harlow a +1 spirit marker, and that's going to move him now up to 2. So we've made some progress in those departments. That is awesome. And I think that's going to complete Harlow's turn, and we're going to move on now to the mystery phase, which is never good for us. All right, at the start of each mystery phase, the first player, which is in this case Lucy, has to place a dread marker in the shadows. So we put that next to the track, and then we have to make a die roll. And if the roll is greater than the number of dread tokens, nothing will happen. But if it's equal to or less than, we have to draw and resolve a villain encounter card. So Lucy will make the roll, and we're looking for anything except a 1. And she rolls a 6, so we're safe for the moment. That's great. Our next step is to make a 2d6 roll and consult the Advanced Cooperative Mystery Phase chart, which is not fun. So we'll make the roll and see what happens. The result is a 5. So let's see what result 5 has for us on the chart. In this case, it is Darkness Falls. The shadow track immediately moves D3 steps closer to darkness. The heroes may collectively take 5 wounds, divided as they see fit, to prevent this. No hero may take more wounds than they have health boxes. So, well, let's make a D3 roll and see what we're up against here. Okay, we'll make a D3 roll and then we can decide how we're going to handle this. And of course, it's a 3. So I think it's probably worthwhile for us to collectively take those wounds to try just to stop this. So I think that's what we'll do. Each of the heroes will take 1 wound, and I believe Heinrich Cartwright will take a 2nd wound because he has the most health boxes. So that's how we're going to mitigate that. All right, so we've managed to mitigate that. There was no movement in the shadow track, which is a good thing, but it did cost us some wounds. So everyone has 1 wound. Heinrich has 2 wounds, and the next step is the Mystery Phase card draw. And the card drawn is Blocked Road. Mystery Obstacle. Draw a random location and place a blocked road marker in any one empty adjacent road space of your choice, if any are available, and then move the shadow track 1 step closer to darkness. The flavor text reads, "The road is out. We have to find another way." Okay, so we're going to draw a layer card and see a random location. And the card is revealed to be the Crossroads. So, that card said that we have to place a roadblock marker in any one empty adjacent road space of our choice. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll place that to the north of the crossroads. So we will place a blocked road at this location here heading towards the covered bridge. That will remain on the board until the shadow track moves into its next stage. And so all we have left for the turn is to move the first player marker. That will advance to Anne-Marie the school teacher, and the turn will come to an end. First turn was fairly uneventful. We didn't have any appearances of the Spectral Horseman, which is always a great thing. So we'll move on to our next turn, and Anne-Marie will be the first player. Anne-Marie will roll for movement. She rolls a 4, so let's see what we can do there. She has 1 wound, so I think what I'll do is I'll have her move to the doctor's office. She'll move 1, 2, 3, and 4, excuse me, to the doctor's office. And I think she is going to encounter the space. So we will have her draw an event card, and we'll see what she gets. She draws the event, Aggressive Combat. Event Combat. Give any hero, minion, or villain +2 combat for a fight round. That is very handy. We'll add that to our tableau. Next up, she can use the heal action, and that's what she's going to do. She's going to pay 1 investigation and heal the wound that she's got. So that is a good thing. I think her final action is going to be to try to build a barricade. She gets to make a cunning 5+ test, and if she's successful, she can put a barricade token there, and that's what we'll do. Here's her roll. And she has failed, unfortunately. She's got 2 4s and a 1. So no help there. I'm sorry, that was out of frame. The results were 2 4s and a 1. So I think that's going to bring Anne-Marie's turn to a close, and we'll move on to Heinrich Cartwright. Now, he has 2 wounds on him, so we'll have to be a little careful with him. Heinrich has 4 investigation points and 2 wounds, so we'll have him make a roll for movement. He rolls a 5. Okay, well, that's pretty good movement. That would allow us to get to any of these locations that have investigation tokens on them, but he's got 2 of his 4 health boxes are already filled. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to move him to the inn, and that gives us a special ability there. It says before encountering, gain 2 investigation or heal a wound. So I think that's what he's going to do. So Heinrich is going to encounter the inn, and he'll begin by healing one of his wounds that he has. So he's down to 1 wound, and now we're going to encounter the inn. Now the inn is known to focus on cunning, allies, and unique rooms to stay in. So we'll see what he ends up drawing. And he draws the card Attacked. Fight. Roll once on the villain's minion chart and work out the result. The flavor text reads, "Get off me, you crazy witch." All right, so we have to make a roll on the minion chart. And it says work out the result. So that means it could be an event. It could be a minion. So we'll make the roll and find out. All right, we'll consult our villain minion chart and make a 2d6 roll. See what happens. The result is a 7, and that says the horseman rides tonight. It's an event. The villain attacks. The hero must immediately resolve a fight round with the villain. Instead of causing wounds, each hit done to the villain gains 1 investigation for the hero. If there are no heroes in the space, instead place 2 investigation there, and the shadow track moves 1 step closer to darkness. After any fight here, or even if there is no fight, the Spectral Horseman moves along the shortest path to the town hall, fighting every hero along the way as normal for his relentless charge. So, the dreaded Spectral Horseman makes his first appearance in the game, and he's going to attack Heinrich Cartwright. All right, for this combat, Heinrich Cartwright has a combat value of 2, so he's going to gain 2 combat dice. The Spectral Horseman has a combat level of 5, so he's going to get 5 dice. We'll also have to check that Deadly Spectre ability. The Spectral Horseman has +1 combat against a hero with Spirit 3, Spirit 2, or Spirit 1. Well, fortunately, Heinrich has Spirit 4, so there'll be no deductions for that. So we'll make the roll and see what happens to Heinrich Cartwright and the Spectral Horseman. All right, quite a few hits here. The Spectral Horseman has done 3 hits to Heinrich. He has done just 1 to him. So that is going to be enough to KO Heinrich unless we can do something about it. And I think we are going to use the card Teamwork. Play to prevent up to 3 hits to any other. Nope, that won't work. You have to have another hero in the space. Oh no. Yeah, I have no way to mitigate that. So Heinrich Cartwright is going to be KO'd. He's taken 3 wounds, and that's enough to KO him. Now, he did earn 1 investigation from his wounding of the Spectral Horseman. That gives Heinrich a total of 5 investigation points. So what's going to happen is we have to make a roll to see how many investigation Heinrich has to surrender for being KO'd. So we'll take care of that now. And the roll is 5. So he's going to lose all of his investigation. And he's going to be toted over to the monastery. When you're KO'd on the Echo Lake board, you're taken to the monastery to recover. So that is where Heinrich is going to be placed. Now, another thing that is going to kick in is the Spectral Horseman's Cold Vengeance. Whenever the Spectral Horseman does 1 or more wounds to a hero outside of a showdown, move the shadow track 1 step closer to darkness. So that's going to move our shadow track down to 19. And now the Spectral Horseman is going to undertake his relentless charge. He's going to move along the shortest path to the town hall. So he's going to move from the inn, galloping towards the crossroads, and he comes to a blocked road going over the covered bridge. So even villains can't go over blocked roads, I believe. I'm going to have to double check that, but I believe that's true. So he's going to ride through the old woods, past the marsh, and into the doctor's office, where he is going to encounter Anne Marie. Well, the rules on blocked roads state that no hero or minion can enter the blocked road. Doesn't say villain. So I guess him being a spectral item or individual would probably be able to go through it. So we're going to readjust that. He's going to ride to the crossroads. His spectral form goes through the blocked road, through the covered bridge, into the magistrate's office, and then he would disappear once he reaches the town hall. And then he's removed from the board. So that spares Anne Marie from having to been attacked by the Spectral Horseman. So Heinrich Cartwright is recovering at the monastery, and that's going to bring his turn to a close. We'll move on to Harlow Morgan, the inventor. He's at the church. All right, next up is Harlow Morgan. He's going to use his genius ability to gain 1 investigation. He has 2 now with a wound. He'll roll for movement. He rolls a 5. All right, he's got 5 movement points. 1 of his 3 health boxes are filled up, though. So I think what he'll do is, this would be a good opportunity to get a barricade at the doctor's office. So I'm going to have him move 1 space into the doctor's office with Anne Marie. And at that location, he is going to encounter the space. We'll start by having him draw an event card. He draws the event Spirited Attack. Event Spirit. Play on any hero, including yourself, to allow them to add their spirit to their combat for 1 fight round. That is great. We'll add that to our tableau of cards. All right, next up, Harlow's going to take advantage of the heal action at the doctor's office. He's going to pay 1 investigation to heal the wound that he has. So that is great. He's back up to full capacity. And now he's going to attempt to use that barricade, build barricades action from the Fortify the Town objective. And he's going to get to roll a Cunning 5+ test. His Cunning is a 4, so he'll have 4 dice to roll, and he's looking for 5+. So let's see if he can do this. Nice to get a barricade there. Here is the roll. And he's done it. He's easily done it. He's got 3 successes. So we'll place a barricade marker there, and that's going to earn him 2 investigation. So we'll place the barricade marker in the doctor's office, and Harlow will earn 2 investigation, taking his investigation up to 3. And that's going to bring Harlow's turn to a close. We'll move on to Lucy Hanbrook. She is at the blacksmith shop. Now Lucy has the youth ability. It says heals a wound at the start of each of her turns. So we're going to heal that 1 wound that she has taken from that dealing with the mitigating that mystery card that we had. So she's fully healed. And we'll have her make a roll for move. See what she gets. She rolls a 2. Okay, let's see what we want to do with Lucy. Now, Lucy has a horse that's going to add +1 to her move, so that would give her a total of 3 movement points. I think Lucy's going to head for the windmill, so we'll have her move 1, 2, and 3 to the windmill. All right, Lucy has reached the windmill, and she's going to encounter the space, and we'll draw a windmill card for her. Now, the windmill focuses on cunning, combined tests, and items. The windmill card is revealed to be Voices of the Dark. Investigation Danger. The whispering voices get louder as you push further into the darkness. They know you're here. They know your name. They want you to join them forever. Make a Spirit 5+ test and gain 3 investigation for every 5+ rolled. If failed, you are consumed by the darkness and KO'd. Oh boy. Well, Lucy has a Spirit of 3, so we'll see if she can pass this. She needs a 5+, otherwise she's KO'd. And she's done it. She's got a 6, which is awesome, and that's going to earn her 3 investigation. Outstanding. So that moves Lucy to 3 investigation, and I think that's going to end her turn. And with that, we'll end the player rounds, and we'll move on to the mystery phase. So the first player will resolve the mystery phase, and we're going to begin the phase by adding a dread token to the shadows. Then we're going to have to make a roll and see if we're going to have a villain encounter. All right, we've got 2 dread tokens in the shadows, so we need a roll greater than 2. Otherwise, we'll have to resolve one of those. The result is a 6, so we are good for the moment. That is outstanding. Next step in the phase is KO'd heroes will revive. So Heinrich Cartwright will stand up at the monastery, and he is now fully healed, which is great. All right, Anne-Marie is our first player, so she's going to be making the roll now on the cooperative mystery phase chart, and here's the roll. Result is a 9, and that's Unnatural Storm. A powerful supernatural storm has blown over the town. Immediately discard any mystery card in play that is keyword weather. Also, roll once on the villain's minion chart, re-rolling any non-event result to see what evil the storm has brought. If the villain attacks during the storm, it does so at a random location and is +3 combat. All right, so we have to roll on the minion chart, and we have to re-roll any non-event results. So let's make the roll and see what happens. Result is a 3, and that is an event. That's Spiked Skull. Place a spiked skull marker on the board at a random location. All heroes in the same and adjacent space to a spiked skull are considered to be -1 spirit. Whoa. Okay, we're going to draw a layer card and see where that's going to go. And we're going to place that at the stone bridge, and that is on the coast board. So we're going to place our first spiked skull token on the map. So if any of our heroes are at that location or in an adjacent location, will be considered to be -1 spirit. Not good. And our last portion of the mystery phase is to draw a mystery card. Cards revealed to be the Order's Influence, Mystery Conspiracy. Play this card on Mayor Carver. While he is alive, all town items cost an extra 2 investigation each. All right, that's going to remain in play. And that's going to apply only to the town items in the coast board. That won't apply to the Shadowbrook board. Flavor text reads, "There is a price for interfering in the affairs of others." Okay, so we're going to place that on Mayor Carver as a reminder that all the prices in the town square are going to be at 2 investigation each extra. All right, that is going to complete the mystery phase. We'll advance our first player marker to Heinrich Cartwright. He is currently recovered at the monastery. So far our investigators have done pretty well. They've managed to pick up a few items, and they've kept the shadow track pretty much in check. It's at 19 and only dropped 1. But those dread tokens are starting to build up, so we're more than likely going to have some type of villain encounters coming. So we're going to go on to the next turn. That's Heinrich Cartwright, and he is at the monastery. We'll have him roll for move. He rolls a 2, so he's got 2 movement points, and I think the best we can do with him is send him to the North Dock, where he can pick up that investigation. So we'll have him move to the North Dock, and while there, his first action will be to take the investigation. That's going to give him 2. All right, he's poking around at the North Dock, and we're going to have to roll a d6. On a 3+, he can draw, in this case, 2 events because of his resourceful ability. However, on a 1 or 2, it's going to be a dreaded mystery card. Here we go. And the result is a 2, and he has to resolve a mystery card. Oh no. And he draws the mystery card, Agents of Evil. Roll once on the villain's minion chart and work out the result. If a minion or villain attacks, result is rolled. Place it on the board at a random location, and then move the shadow track 1 step closer to darkness. All right. So once again, we're going to be rolling on the minion chart and working out the result. Here we go. That time the result is a 7, and that's the Horseman Rides Tonight. We've had that before. It's an event. The villain attacks. The hero must immediately resolve a single fight round. So, the dreaded Spectral Horseman moves into the North Dock and once again attacks Heinrich Cartwright. Alright, this time Heinrich has a full load of health. He's got 4 health boxes. His combat is still at 2, so he's going to get 2 dice. Spectral Horseman will get 5. And fortunately, Heinrich has a spirit of 4, so there'll be no detriment to him at all. With the epic villain's deadly strike ability. Okay, here is the combat roll. Whoops, 1 dice popped out. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. The Spectral Horseman did 4 hits to Heinrich Cartwright. He did 1. So he is going to gain 1 investigation for the hit he did get, but he is going to be KO'd once again, whether you believe it or not. Oh, poor Heinrich. Oh! All right, so he is going to be carried off back to the monastery for recovery again. And we have to roll to see how many investigation he has to surrender. He has 2 investigation plus the 1 he just earned, so that's a total of 3. All right, here is the roll. And he rolled a 6, so he's going to have to surrender all of his investigation. Oh boy. And now, the Horseman rides tonight, so he is going to make his moves towards the town hall. So the Horseman atop his evil steed Wittwenmacher will make his run towards the town hall, going through the blocked road and disappearing once he arrives at the town hall. So he didn't impact anyone. That is great. But poor old Heinrich once again KO'd at the hands of the Spectral Horseman. And that Agents of Evil minion card is going to make the shadow track move up 1, so we're at 18 right now. Okay, that's going to bring Heinrich Cartwright's turn to a close. We'll move on to Harlow Morgan, the inventor, and he's at the doctor's office. Okay, we'll begin with Harlow, and he gains 1 investigation for his genius ability, so that puts him up to 4. Now he'll make his movement roll. He rolls a 6. Okay, so he's got 6 movement points. And we need to get him some spirit, so let's take a look on our chart and see which locations are good at spirit. Actually, I don't want to have spirit because he's not so good at that. He's only got a 2 there. We need cunning. That's his best ability. So that looks like it's going to be the abandoned keep. Focuses on cunning, honor, and dangers. So we're going to have him move to the abandoned keep. He'll move 1, 2, and 3, reaching the abandoned keep. So Harlow reaches the abandoned keep, and we'll have him encounter the space. He'll draw an abandoned keep card. The card's revealed to be the Dark Keep, danger. The evil beneath the keep yearns, above all else, to escape its dark prison. Make a cunning 6+ test and gain 3 investigation for each 6 rolled. If failed, move the shadow track 2 steps closer to darkness, and the hero must immediately draw a mystery card. Oh no. Well, Harlow Morgan has a cunning value of 4, and he has a skilled hand which allows him to re-roll a die that he just rolled once per game round. So that might be handy for us. All right, he's going to make a 4 dice cunning roll. And he needs to get 6s. Every 6 he gets will be 3 investigation. We don't want to move up that shadow track if we can help it. Here is the roll. And he's failed. Okay, he's going to use his skilled hand card, which allows him to reroll 1 die per game round. So we'll do that. A 1 in 6 chance of stopping this. Okay, here is the roll. And he rolled a 2, so we failed. I'll see if there's any event cards I can play, but I don't think so. Nope. There are no event cards that will help us. So, in this case, the shadow track is going to move 2 steps closer to darkness, and worse yet, we have to resolve a mystery card. Oh boy. So the shadow track advances 2 points up to 16, and that's going to earn the villain a +2 wound marker. That's going to move him up now to a total of 34 health. He's got the 8 starting health times 4 players is 32, and the +2 makes it 34. And incidentally, I forgot the Spectral Horseman dealt wounds to Heinrich Cartwright, and that says Cold Vengeance. When a Spectral Horseman does 1 or more wounds to a hero, move the showdown track 1 space towards darkness. So we're actually up another point from that. We're up to 15, down to 15 now. Oh boy. Now we have to resolve a mystery card on top of this, and this one is Wicked Manipulation, Mystery Hysteria. If Lady Handbrook is still alive, every hero must discard 1 item or ally and move to the crossroads. Well, unfortunately, she is still alive, so everyone is going to have to discard an item or ally and move to the crossroads, and that is terrible. That is really bad, because Anne-Marie is going to lose her cross that she has, and Lucy Handbrook is going to have to lose either the horse or the old map, and I think I'll have her give up the old map. So those are discarded, and everyone moves to the crossroads. Oh, this is terrible. So all of the characters that aren't KO'd are moved to the crossroads. When you're KO'd, like Heinrich Cartwright is, you're not involved in any of the game effects. You just are KO'd. That's it. So all of the characters are there. That's going to bring Harlow Morgan's turn to a close, and we'll move on now to Lucy Handbrook. All right, Lucy is up, and she has a total of 3 investigation at the moment, and we'll have her make a roll for move. She's not wounded at this point. She gets +1 for her horse. She rolls a 4, so that's modified to a 5 for her. She has 5 movement points. So let's see what we want to have her do. Well, I think we're going to take a chance. I'm going to have her move to the south dock. So she'll move 1, 2, and 3 to the south dock. And that will allow her to gain the 2 investigation there. That's going to move her up to 5. So we'll exchange those and give her a 5er. Okay, she is at the south dock. All right, she's going to encounter the space, and we got to make a d6 roll, and hopefully we roll a 3 or greater. We don't want any more mystery cards. We rolled a 6, so she's going to be able to draw a mystery, or event card rather. That is great. And she draws the card Near Miss. Event: force a hero, minion, or villain to re-roll all of their successful hits just rolled during a fight round, or cancel any mystery card that is keyword death. That is a great card, and I think that's something we want to try to hang on to for that second part of the card. That would be great. We have to find ways to mitigate those mystery cards. So I think that is going to bring Lucy's turn to a close. She has 5 investigation, but I'm kind of saving that so that we can attempt to locate that rider's skull. That would be a huge advantage for us if we can get that. It allows us to subtract 1 from the combat ability of the Spectral Horseman against that character. Okay, that's going to bring Lucy's turn to a close. We'll move on to Anne-Marie, and she's at the crossroads. And we'll have Anne-Marie begin with a movement roll. She rolls a 5, so she's got 5 movement points. Now, she's strong at spirit, so I'm wondering if we should try to maybe get her into the Old Woods. I believe the Old Woods is a very spirit-filled area. Let's check the chart. The Old Woods focuses on spirit, combat, and magic. So let's do that. We'll send Anne-Marie. She'll move one space into the Old Woods. And incidentally, the shadow track moved into a new stage, so this blocked road marker is gone now. I forgot about that. All right, Anne-Marie is at the Old Woods and will ever encounter the space. She draws the card Cavalry Horse. Item, animal, transport, +1 to combat, and you may add 1 to your move. Limit 1 transport. That is outstanding, and we'll give that to Anne-Marie, and I think that's going to bring her turn to a close. That's great. And that's going to bring the hero phase to a close. We'll move on to the mystery phase, and we'll begin with those dread markers in the shadows. Now, Heinrich Cartwright is technically the first player, but he is KO'd. So we have to move that first player marker to the next character, and that's going to be Harlow Morgan. So Harlow will be resolving this. So we add a dread marker to the shadows, and we got to make a roll now. And we need to roll greater than a 3 to prevent an encounter. Here is the roll. We've rolled a 6, so we've been doing pretty good with these dread tokens, at least for the moment. That's great. Next step is Heroes Revive. So Heinrich Cartwright, once again, finishes his convalescence at the monastery, and he's fully healed. Now we're going to make a roll on the Cooperative Mystery Phase chart. Here's the roll. Result is a 5, and I think we've had that before. Yes, that's Darkness Falls. The shadow track moves D3 steps closer to darkness, and heroes can collectively take 5 wounds, divided as they would to prevent it. So let's make the D3 roll and see what the damages are. And of course, I'm sure I'm going to roll 3. But maybe not. Okay, here's the roll. I'll roll a 2. I don't want that shadow track going down anymore, so I think we're going to collectively take the 5 wounds once again and prevent that from occurring. So everyone's going to take 1. We'll divide it up that way. And once again, I think Heinrich is going to take the extra one since he has the most health boxes. So he has 2. And finally now we have to draw a mystery card. Mystery card is revealed to be Deadly Encounter, Mystery Fight. Every hero must roll a d6. The hero that rolls lowest must resolve a single fight round with the villain. Instead of causing wounds, each hit done to the villain gains 1 for the hero. This does not count as a showdown, and unfortunately that is also going to enact his relentless charge. Oh boy. Well, I'll make the rolls off camera and we'll find out who the target is. And as fate would have it, the target is going to be poor Heinrich Cartwright once again. And the Spectral Horseman targets him at the monastery. All right, we have to fight another fight round. He still has his combat level of 2. And the Spectral Horseman has 5. All right, there's no other modifiers. He has the proper amount of spirit, so we will make the roll and see what happens. And he's going to do his relentless charge. Okay, here's the roll. Oh my goodness, oh, look at this. He's done no hits. The Spectral Horseman did 4 hits on him. That's going to KO him again. Oh boy, this is just terrible. All right, he's KO'd. He has no investigation or no items, so we don't have to roll for him losing anything. And now the Spectral Horseman's going to go on his ride, and he has to pick the closest route towards the town hall. And I think it's going to go through a lot of people here. Yeah. Yeah, taking the fastest route, he's going to move past the North Dock into the South Dock, attacking Lucy Hanbrook. Unbelievable. Lucy has a combat value of 2. The Horseman has 5. And Her spirit is a 3, so that means that the Spectral Horseman is going to gain +1 to combat because of her spirit being less than 4, so he'll be rolling 6 dice. This is amazing. Okay, we'll make the combat roll and see what happens. This is not good. And he's done it again. She's got no hits. He's done 4. That's going to KO Lucy. And she is going to be taken back to the monastery. Oh no, this is terrible. And now we have to roll to see how many points of investigation or items she's going to lose. This is terrible. She has 5 investigation and a horse. She rolls a 3, so she'll lose the 3 investigation, but that's terrible. And in addition, the Spectral Horseman's Cold Vengeance is going to kick in. He did wounds to Heinrich Cartwright and now to Lucy, so that's going to drop the shadow track down by 2, 1 for each one of those. They're separate. Oh, we're down to 13 already. Wow. And we're still not done. He's going to continue on his ride, now attacking Harlow Morgan at the crossroads. Oh no. Poor old Harlow only has 1 combat. And the Spectral Horseman is going to gain +3 because of his collect souls. I'm sorry, from the Deadly Spectre ability. Harlow Morgan's spirit is 2 right now. 2. And that's going to give +2 combat against a hero with spirit 2. So he'll be rolling 7 dice for this combat. Wow. Okay, here's the roll. That time, no hits were done by anybody. What do you know? Okay, so he'll continue on his ride, and then he disappears once he reaches the town hall. That was a terrible turn for us. Not good at all. So we've got 2 heroes that are KO'd at the monastery, and we've got Harlow Morgan and Anne Marie at the crossroads and at the old woods. That's going to bring the turn to a close. We would normally advance the first player marker, but because of Heinrich Cartwright being KO'd, it was already advanced to Harlow Morgan, so it will stay there for the coming turn. And that's going to bring this turn to a close. Shadow track is already down to 13. And I think I'm going to bring this episode to a close, and we'll regroup for episode 2 of our playthrough against the epic version of the Spectral Horseman. Thank you so much for tuning in for my Autumn 2024 Horror Season playthrough of Touch of Evil 10-year Anniversary Edition. I invite you to tune in next time for our episode 2 as we continue on with the playthrough. In the meantime, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club, signing off and wishing everyone a pleasant evening. Good night.